Hello, people. Welcome back to the sequel to my famous Deltarune songs ranking. This one I've just gone through and ranked every song that came out with 3 and 4. There were a few after, but not nearly as many as extra between 1 and 2. I do think this is definitively the worst Deltarune song. It's quite literally annoying on purpose, and it's very loud and danger sounding. Yeah, I know it's its job, but this is the worst song in the OST. There's a few songs like this one that I'm kind of just gonna skim through, but since this one's in the OST, I'll talk about it. So this song, it does its job quite well, giving Carol an intimidating aura, but I hope she gets a real theme later. This one, it's not music. I already didn't like the first 3 versions of this song, so I'm kinda just mad they made another one. Like, it isn't the worst, and it's probably better than the other versions of this track, but it's just the audacity to make another one. That's really what pisses me off. There were a lot of these tracks that are kind of just ambient tracks, and I felt kind of bad not including them since some of them C or Crickets, they made the OST, so I felt like I might as well just include these. So yeah. Overall, I mean, some are definitely better than others, but they're all just ambient tracks. So it's yeah. They're just yeah. I'm just playing portions of them in the background because some of them are pretty long, and it felt like it would lose retention if I had just 8 minutes of pure ambience at the beginning. So I just shortened a lot of these. Some of them I do like hearing, but they're just, again, they're not really music, but they're in the music folder, and they're music adjacent. Some of the songs that are in the OST are just like this, so it felt like that's kind of what I should do about them. Also, one thing I should note here, which I might as well note it here. Some of the tracks have multiple versions, whether it be there's a shortened version, there's a muffled version, there's a slowed down version. I just combined all those into one track for the purposes of this. I'll try to play the multiple versions, but some of them it was. But yeah, that's me for now. Back to business. This will probably be for the weird route in chapter 5, I think, because that's where it is on the Spamton sweepstakes. I don't think it's anywhere in game. These two might just be part of Ripple, and I organized it wrong since that song is in the multiple files and all, but on their own these two are fine. They're just ominous background noise. Also, I mean maybe the other one might not even be part of Ripple, but they're both labeled like they are. So because I think it might just be part of the scary ambience noise, but that's that. I don't really know why some random ambient tracks made the OST and some didn't. This one isn't really necessary. I mean, it's better than previous ambiences. It's just it didn't piss me off like, you know, the very bottom ones. It's fine. This song I know ranked poorly, maybe even last on my last ranking, but honestly I've got to give it some respect. At first the piano is very discordant, but it kind of becomes beautiful at the end. It's not all terrible. This is another one where I might have called it a sound effect if it were not in the OST, as a theme of my least favorite secret boss, and yes, it is the secret boss. It just sounds like noise, I don't know, it's fine, it does its job, it's not bad or anything, it's just... I really don't know how this got here, since it's just the track from Undertale and it's unused. Probably something to do with Unknown, you'd think, but who knows. It was already one of my least favorite Undertale tracks, and it just being unused here isn't doing it any favors. The first part is fine, it's just kind of boring, but then Susie's drum solo is just kind of too loud, and it's funny, but it's too loud. Don't get me wrong, but it's too loud. I'm not really the biggest fan of Lancer's motif. I like the character, don't get me wrong. His motif just isn't my favorite. I'll say this is the first song that's definitely music. I'll say that. I don't know if anyone else gets this, but this song really sounds like an Ace Attorney song. I feel like maybe it's just the instruments, I don't know. Overall, it's very slow and repetitive with like a similar chord playing like 6 times. The backing sound is better, but it's not as good as, you know, most Ace Attorney songs. I usually like how reversed things sound, but this guy isn't really doing it. It's just kind of boring. I don't know. Like if it wasn't reversed, it would pretty much be nothing. It's yeah. I like the full version of this song, and if this was the whole thing slowed down, it would get more points, but it's really just the slowed down intro, so it's fine. I'm not the biggest 8-bit fan, so I don't care for the original Legend, but this kind of just cuts out the good part and fades to black. Like, I get it's symbolic or whatnot, but still, whatever. This does do a very good job at sounding like church music. Like, I haven't been there that many times, but this definitely has that vibe. That does not, however, make it good music. really want to like this song since the scene it plays over is so goaded, but this song itself is just so boring. It's just like one chord and that's it. Like, yeah, a bit more happens, but it's just so nothing. Like, it sounds nice, but there's not much to it. This track is purely ambient, but it is kind of a nice ambience. Like, I like the discordant bell noises, and they give a nice vibe to the room, especially since it's, full of thousands of bells. This one was a bit harder to play since it's just a sped up version of Now's Your Chance to Be Ya, but I like that song, so I gave this one some credit, but this is around where the list gets to songs that I think are good, which is surprising since we're still like way away from the top, so that goes to say Toby Fox has a pretty high standard. I'm kind of surprised I like this worse as it's just the non 8-bit version of a later track, but I don't know. Unusual. For being a short little jingle, I actually kind of like this one. It's kind of fun and silly, and I like the trailing notes and the backing strings. This is the first song where I've encountered the Family Guy paradox. You see, there's this one YouTuber who keeps making Family Guy versions of Deltarune tracks, and that's all I can hear when I hear some of these. Yeah. But this isn't one of my favorite tracks. It feels very NES, but again, that's what it's going for. So I'm not gonna blame it for that. This song is separated into two files. I really don't know why, but it's fun. This is another very 8-bit NES track, and it's fine. I don't know, it's not completely detestable, but it's not my favorite. I like hearing this and being like, oh hey, that's the sneaking motif. What's that doing here? It's a bit slow, I don't know, it doesn't really go anywhere, but it's a nice intro track for the Michaels. again, similar to the previous songs, this isn't a bad track, it's just pretty short, doesn't do much for me.
Oh man, I hate kids' birthday parties. This is gonna be worse than that time I was stuck behind Robert Lozier at the airport.
I do actually like this song more than I thought, and I honestly do like this song more than I thought I did, and honestly Robert Lozier makes me like this a lot more. This is definitely the best ambient track because it really gives the night a threatening aura without being music. Also, I have to give this song points for being my most popular FNAF Rune cover on my second channel. This song apparently has the Hey Everyone motif, which is interesting, but I also do just kind of like its vibe. Like, it's not that good, but there's nothing wrong with it. Doom! This song has a nice sinister vibe, and I think it's being 8-bit actually helps this song. It's, you know, it's seen by me liking Metaphysical Challenge less. I don't know. It's good, I think. I don't know. It's hard saying things are good this low in the list, because it's like, I mean, yeah, I like most of the songs in Deltarune, but I feel like, oh, it's all the way down here. It's spot 84. It's less than halfway through the list. It's terrible. But I don't know, it's like I kept running into that when I was going through it too. I was like, oh, I like this song, it should be higher. But then I was like, wait, I like all of the other songs also. So yeah, sorry, I ran over time on that one. I like how Toby just keeps reusing the Undertale songs for Deltarune. I wonder how many will be in it by the end. Overall, Time Shop is fine. This short snippet doesn't really feel like it's missing out on much. I didn't really know what to do with the big crush versions of Rude Buster and Fields of Hopes and Dreams, so, because, you know, they're just big crush versions of songs I thought were good before. It's like, yeah, so, I mean, it feels weird to put them how I have, especially since they're just short segments, so I put them down here together. Like, yeah, they're both... The original songs, they both got like top 5 on my first video, so, you know, but I can put them higher up. I like how this song transitions from just rain ambience to slowly bringing in it's raining somewhere else's piano. I will say, besides the nostalgia factor, it's obviously, you know, missing the main motif. Sans is not present, he's in my house, befriending my mother. So it doesn't really have as much sauce as it did back in Undertale. But you know, I like it. It feels, the beginning part's very peaceful. It's, you know, it's just rain sound effects. It's good, but it's just kind of slow for me. This feels like it would be like an old Nintendo song, and you'd always hear it in like the background of like a creepy pasta. I'm kind of just thinking of Lavender Town from Pokemon, but you know, this feels like a more modern remix of the 8-bit Man Country song that somebody made to be cool and different while still being the same for their creepy pasta video. I like the extended creepy intro this has, and you know, the man motif is decent. This song kind of has a creepy vibe, and it definitely fits the opening cutscene. I don't really know about it fitting in the later cutscene, but I suppose it is the flashback song. Can't wait for flashback full version. Which, I mean, yeah, we'll probably get that. This is just an extra after all. For some reason, I can't tell the difference between this and Hip Shop, like, at all. I could not tell you which is which if you played them both for me. I mean, it's fine at all, but it's just weird that I can't tell them apart at all. I mean, yeah, they're basically just put the shop theme here in the green room. I don't know. Also, I think my version's better. But, I do like the sort of slowed reverb style this has, but it's kind of just a bit fine. We're definitely in the fine tiers right now. I'm also not that crazy for the Lost Girl motif. Yeah, again, we're definitely in like a good B plus tier. It's like, you know, these are good songs, don't get me wrong. I just like the other ones more. Very similar to the last song, just on guitar this time. Again, I like it well enough. They're just better songs. Although thematically, this one does more because, you know, Death and all. I mean, on the other one, they're all relative to Death. It's kind of, I think Lost Girl is like Death's motif. She is the Lost. But, you know. Yeah. I feel like I might have wanted to put this one higher, but I kind of linked it with the last one. So I don't know. But yeah. I love the default choir sound effect used for this. This song is just, you know, it's a pretty decent rendition of the main theme, which I do like it. I like the main theme. It's neat how they gave it lyrics. You know, besides the lyrics they already gave it in the chapter 1 credits. I can honestly see this like moving up a bit. I like the instruments a lot, and I like the stupid voices in the background, and also the ton of voice acting. Can't wait to get all 3 classic heroes.
TV time heroes are here! 3 great heroes, right from that classic you used to love playing on TV. 3 Bring the legend of Ted to life with their own set. Wow! 3 classic heroes. Sword, scarf, and... Hey, wait a minute, Ram! I thought I told you to change the... Order now!
I think this is a good, more serious take on the board theme, and if it weren't for the very extended outro in order for the song to loop, I think I'd like it quite a bit more. I hate to harp on just one part, but it's just really a bit too long for my liking. The rest of the song really is good. I do really love the use of the spam Teta motifs in Chapter 2 and 3, and I like how it wasn't revealed that they share a motif. For some reason, I do care a lot about spam Teta and Teta divorce and all, you know, and this song makes me think about that. This is most especially like the C ring room and all. I don't know if any of what I just said makes sense, but I'm just gonna roll with it. You can read the text on screen, that's more succinct than me. I actually really like this song despite how short it is. The length is really the only thing holding it back. It does a really good job of having this, you know, evil secret vibe, if you know what I mean. When I made my last video, I believe this was the most recent song to come out, so I feel like I ranked it a bit too high there, and I'm bringing it down a bit. In my head, I kept associating this with Lancer because of the Twitter post, but it really is just Henna's theme. Also, this was like the only song to not even be in the files. The other unused ones were at least present. Come on, guys. I do prefer this to Before the Story, and it has a cool vibe. I like the back and choir instrument and the fun drums. Like I said, if it weren't for the drums, I do think this song would be a bit lower. They are really adding a new vibe to the song. I feel like the cheesy romance feel is, you know, it works well in a song, and it works in the scenes it plays in. Although the funniest part is when you just ignore it and then Ralsei Flush is so sad. Overall, it's just generic sounding music, but this one just isn't long enough to pique my interest. I feel like I had a higher opinion of this song before the chapters came out, and even though it is now extended, I just don't care that much about it. I mean, maybe I just got burnt out at it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe I kept hearing it in like YouTube videos and such, but yeah. Overall, it's a fine song, and I feel like I should enjoy it more. I just don't care. Sorry if I go a little off script. If you want, I mean, I feel like I kind of start ad-libbing at this end of some of these, and I kind of sometimes I'm messing up the sentence that I wrote. I mean, I wrote these like literally like yesterday. But yeah. I actually really like the Sanctuary motif, so in this case, although it is funny, I do feel like putting it in the dog instrument did kind of ruin it. Like I said, it's still funny, and I like the motif, it just isn't as good as the other Sanctuary themes. I don't know if I should rate these two songs differently, since the guitar version is playing a different melody and all, but I couldn't decide which was better, and they were going to be next to each other anyway, so I just put them together. I also like how, despite the name of the track, this is Tenno's theme. It also has a very good bass rendition of the theme, and it sets up his character and vibe. I really don't know why this was scrapped, as I feel like it's better than Adventure Board, and it could have fit there fine, but I guess I don't know Toby Fox's true vision. I think this song just sounds nice, and it's still able to sound very good while staying within the limitations. this song is the one from the files is much faster than the version in the game and in the OST, so I decided I'd rank both versions, but separately, but the same. I'm pretty sure the unslowed version does play somewhere overall. I like the chill vibe, and I'm pleasantly surprised at all the I'm pleasantly surprised at the options theme from Undertale being here. I don't know why he thought, oh yep, that's a good thing I need to put in there. Oh, remember that? Oh yes, that fits here. These Chris piano songs are actually the main reason I wanted to include the non-OST songs in this ranking. I really like most of them, and well, this is my least favorite. It's still pretty alright. I do feel like this will become a real song later in the game, though. So, foreshadowing. Think about that. These two songs are literally the same song, just played at different speeds in different places. Again, these are fine piano solos, not Chris's best work, but not bad either. I like how this does imply Chris does know the prophecy, since this song is part of that, and they play it before in the Emma's house. So it seems we, the player, are the only one not in the know. Like I said about the normal version of this song, I think it's a decent little excerpt of Tennis theme, but it's not much more. I like it on the piano a bit more, I think. But I feel like I don't know if it deserved to be this much higher. I like how this song slowly builds throughout the song. It just feels like it takes a little while for it to really get going. It also kind of feels like it's building to a climax that doesn't exist. I mean, overall, this entire song and battle feel like they could have had, more, but what they have is good. And don't get me wrong, it's just, I feel like something's missing. Yeah, there's also this song is also 10 files because of how this fight works, so that's fine. I can listen to each different level of statue noise. I'm on the third level now. time an Undertale song is used earnestly in like a mandatory part of the game, which is kind of unusual, seeing as they were mostly just reserved for small jokes. Overall, Confession's fine, I'm just kind of confused why it's here. I feel like I undervalued this song. I think the fireplace ambience adds a lot to the song, and I really do like Ursen's main motif. Most of the motifs in this game are good, and so not really surprising. I like how it's a rendition of Untime's theme, like the Undertale. This is definitely the most chill version of this motif, which is good for its location. It just makes it not hit as hard as the others. Oh, Toby Fox, he's here and he's free to sing his Undertale music. No, somebody stop him. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote that. Yeah, Undertale's fine, but it does have the Family Guy curse also, I know. I guess. This song is fine, and the scene is fun. I really don't know why there's two versions of this track, and I really don't remember what makes them different either. As the secret boss for this chapter, the Shadow Mantle doesn't really have the best song. I also do remember being notably bad at this battle, so maybe that's giving me a bad impression of the track. Maybe I just suck at video games. I do suck at video games for some reason. I call myself a gamer. I don't call myself a gamer. I think people think I'm a gamer, but I feel like I don't play video games very often. What am I gonna say? I'm gonna say, oh no, I don't play video games. I just watch YouTube videos all day. That's my main thing I do, which is true. But yeah, that sucks. Fine. This just kind of give me flashbacks to being awful at the cooking video game, but overall I think the song is good, and I think it implements Setta's motif. It also manages to do a lot with a little. I feel like there isn't that much going on here, but you know, I think it's still good. I appreciate the serene simplicity of this song. I honestly especially like the first half where it's just the lead and the backing. The second half is still good, but the first half is my favorite part, which is unusual as I usually like a more crazy ending to the calm, but as compared to the calm beginning. The beginning by Toby Fox. Beginning by Minecraft. Beginning the third thing. For some reason, I like this a lot more than 13 AM. I guess it's just because it gets more to the point. It's, it sounds very serene. I feel like this is my favorite song that plays during the boards in Chapter 3. I think the instruments make the song feel sort of nostalgic in a way. I also like the little breakdown in the middle, and the loop isn't too egregious. Overall, I do quite like the main motif for this song, and the others like it. I just feel like it's a bit slow to start, and lacks the power of some of the other tracks using this motif. This is probably because it's the least imminent danger that the gang is in, after, playing the summon. This song is more just a funny addition than actually powerful. I think Toby sings is good, but she has a full cover of Don't Forget also, so maybe go listen to that instead. This song sounds very triumphant, and I like how it ends very abruptly and the knight kills Denna. Top 5 craziest moments in Deltarune. I do like how this song was just in the Brampton sweepstakes, so I have also already ranked this one. I'm pretty sure this song is just like a slightly different version of The Dark Truth, maybe? I don't know, don't quote me on that, I don't remember which one. Overall, I think it's fine, it has a chill vibe. The best part about this song is the scene it plays in, where, you know, everyone's dying. At first, I wasn't really too fond of this song since it's just more of an 8-bit styling of the Sanctuary theme, and those aren't usually my favorite, but it actually does have a nice but it actually does have a nice sound to it. I like how it does sound like you're trying to achieve a goal of some sort, I don't know, you know, climbing or whatever. I feel like I just like say things sometimes at least. I just say, what do I mean? It sounds like I'm trying to achieve a goal. I feel like a lot of these I was just trying to fill a paragraph, because it's like I feel like I need to know. I can't just break them. I need to have a good explanation. But also I feel like most of I don't know music very well, so maybe I shouldn't be doing it. For some reason, this song just feels more threatening than Crumbling Tower, and the whole song kind of has the same vibe, so I put it in above that. I like the fun bass line and the backing choir, and the almost militaristic drum line. That was music. This is really the only song Toby has shown us from Chapter 5. I think that it's nice and calm, and not knowing the theme of the Dark World, I can see it fitting in with what was shown in the trailer. I'm kind of intrigued by what Toby said about this being the only not spoilery track. Yeah, I'll take this time to say Deltarune tomorrow and the such. Hopefully I get this video out today, the day I'm recording it, which is the day before Deltarune comes out. despite being a bit shorter, I do think I like the Chris Piano version a little bit more, but I think I'm a bit biased to the piano. Overall, they're mostly the same. Both songs are nice. I'm why this is the only one that Toby Fox decided to put in the rhythm minigame. Like, I mean, it's pretty good and all, but I just feel like the Scrap and Rune Cluster and Fields of Hopes and Dreams ones would have been better. I also can't really tell the difference between this version and the normal version. I mean, they sound pretty similar, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm stupid. This song is kind of weird because it does kind of imply that Chris can hear the game music, which is strange. Unless Rule's theme is diegetic, which honestly I wouldn't put it past him. He would feel the guy. He's just blasting his own theme music. Overall, I like it fine, but I'd probably say the original's better. I think this is the last pair of songs where one is just slower than the original. I like how it's referencing the Undertale motif, and this scene is quite funny and exceedingly unexpected, especially after a more solemn tone of Chapter 4. Also, I think this is the only track where the different version that's not in the OST is longer than the OST version, so think about that. I like how he remade this song twice for two different advertisements. Musically, the instruments for this is nothing that special, but I think just the fact that there are lyrics accompanied by the strange 3D visuals, you know, gives this video a lot of charm. And I like the other versions too. I like how, I mean, merch presentation is kind of just the instrumental, and then figure presentation. I think I like figure presentation, and I like how there's, you know, more extra dialogue. I think figure presentation might be my favorite. But also technically, I think this is figure presentation is longer. Also, I think I lied in the last one. It's just these two, I swear.
Coming straight from your house.
Coming straight from your house.
Mommy.
He's the one.
Mommy.
The king of. He's groovy and never gloomy. You can't get this from an egg. The sensation of your screen. The show that makes you scream. Say it with it, folks. Mr. Antenna's TV show. It's now time for our figure presentation. Figure
Coming straight to your house.
coming straight to your house.
Mommy.
He's the one.
Mommy.
The king of slightly benevolent. He's precious with three expressions. You can't get this from a. Oh my God! What the heck is that? What the heck is the sensation of your choice? A gift for girls and boys. Say it with it, folks. Mr. Antenna's electrical photo figure. Figures. What do I look like? An ad guy? I don't even know any ad guys. Mike, I'll be in my trailer.
The package for this song is actually unused in Undertale. I think that it still has the same file name though. I appreciate it. I like the crazy eccentric vibe this song has, and it fits Dennis' personality a lot. For some reason, I also feel like I like the distorted version more, even though I have no clue what it plays. I have no clue what the distorted version plays. I like how the theme starts off like it's gonna be all serious before it goes into the more silly and lighter main section. It really fits Gerson's character and also makes us think back to Undyne from Undertale. Also, I think Gerson's just a good character and this is a good main theme for him. I like how this theme doesn't really use Gerson's main motif and instead uses a more solemn secondary motif. This helps certain later songs to be able to have more power and two separate motifs, you know. I also think the Gerson-Susie relationship is very sweet, and with him being, you know, sort of a mentor to her. I don't like thinking about myself talking. I'm like, oh man, I said I like 100 times. I said, you know, they don't know anything. This is another song on the list of Family Guy ruined it for me. I think it's very funny how Toby totally teased this song, but everybody just thought it was something silly made for Halloween. I like this song well enough, I just feel like it gets a bit repetitive, especially with how long the Jack and Stein fight is. You're taking too long. I don't know if I'll edit that. I don't know if I'll put the sound effect in or if I should leave that. Maybe I'll just, that was funny.
yes it is, hit it right. It's on a meme as we compare. I get people compare. As race and dolphins screaming, but it's really only one way to keep the trend. It's on a meme as we compare. I get people compare. As race and dolphins screaming, but it's really only one way to keep the trend. Stick out your arms like Frankenstein and swing your body just like mine. Don't like should care and in the city arms. Put your head while up and down. Wipe that weird shit from Charlie Brown and twist your body like you're in a trance.
I feel like this song might predate Acid Tunnel of Love, since I feel like it makes sense to make a waltz version for the piano solo, and I was just always confused to why they just had Lancer's theme in that area for no reason. I mean, overall, it's a lot more, I like it a lot more than Acid Tunnel of Love, since the instruments is much more palatable. Yeah, I think Acid Tunnel of Love, it was like the very bottom of my last list, which is, I also don't feel like it, maybe I feel like it's a bit too high on this list. Maybe it's just because, like, the last one was so bad that I was like, oh, this one's so much better, and then I put it way too high up. It's like, that is kind of the problem with comparison. It's like, did it deserve to be this high up? Probably not, but it's so good. I feel like I should like this song a lot more, since it kind of just skips to the good part of the song, pretty much bypassing any sort of calmer beginning. But honestly, I do feel like despite this being the most hype part of the song, you kind of need to have the rest have a full bass. I hate to admit it. I said earlier that Paradise Paradise was my favorite board theme, but I suppose it's technically this one, since it's just unused, but it was meant for the third board. It's also the dog check for chapter 3. I think I do feel like I tend to be a bit more biased towards unused or hidden songs, so I don't know, that's just kind of what happens. I like the fast tempo of this song and the very consistent backing. Also, one note, I really... I realized that I keep spelling paradise with a C, because that's what the Family Guy version is called. It's pair of dice, and I kept spelling paradise with a C instead of an S. I'm just realizing that that's wrong, and I should fix that. Curse. This song is my favorite rendition of Tennis theme, despite some later tracks also using the theme. This track is pretty much just his theme. His theme from Undertale? I'm sorry. Well, it doesn't really go many different places musically. I like the ending, and I like the very much quiz-like vibe it portrays. Now that one, I think, is an apt comparison. This does have a quiz vibe. I said I want a consistent vibe. I really like Rude Buster, and this is just the same song, mostly, but slowed and reverbed. I thought about putting it higher, but I feel like I had to dock some points for unoriginality. It is definitely still transformative, unlike, like the muffled version, but yeah, I like thinking this. I think it isn't actually just slowed down. I think it maybe is remade at a slower speed. Don't quote me on that though. And I appreciate the one extra instrument, and it's also very funny that the water cooler exists. I believe this is the only Chris piano song not related to any Prince song or motif. I wonder if it'll become a song later, like some of the other Chris piano tracks. Overall, I really like a lot of the piano tracks, but it's hard to say anything too insightful about them since I'm not like crazy knowledgeable on music. I don't know, I just think it sounds good, man. What do you want me to say? I do really like this song, and I was kind of disappointed when it was scrapped for Chapter 3, but according to some of the teasers Toby Fox posted on Chapter 5, it will be present there, unless he was just using it as a placeholder, which I don't think he would do, but there's never a 0 chance. I like the main singing motif, and I like how he just made it the mic motif. I'm a bit confused as to why Lost Girl's just in here, but it's fine, I suppose. For some reason, this song sounds like it's been compressed. Like, I don't know why it sounds like that. Maybe it's just like an error with how I downloaded it, or how it's uploaded, maybe? I don't know. I still think it's pretty good, and since most of it's the same as the Royal Wish of Hair of Justice, I'll just talk about it later. Hair of Justice up next, if you believe it. I know I put them next to each other. This song obviously sounds a lot more polished than the demo version, and I really like how it works in both of Kirsten's themes. And it's also able to sound both serious and silly and sad, all at different times. Not all at the same time, I almost said that. In terms of secret boss themes, I think this is probably right in the middle. Here's a little mini ranking just for fun. Best to worst, I think I'd go Big Shot's the best, then Black Knight, then Hammer of Justice, then The World Revolving, and then Burning Eyes if we count that. I mean, so yeah, this this boss fight was also just really fun. I was able to do it without too much hassle like the other secret bosses. But yeah, on the secret boss debate, I would say that the knight is the shadow crystal holder, and Eram, or the shadow mantle, or whatever we're calling it, I think that is the secret boss. I think chapter 1, 2, and 4, it just so happens that the secret boss and the shadow crystal holder were the same person, and in 3 they're different. That's my take on the matter. The problem with this track is that it's just an edited version of another track that I really like. So I want to place it a little high up, but it just so sure that it feels bad too. I really like this motif with the original track, so I'll talk more about it later. This song and the third Sanctuary seem very similar on the surface, but the third one I feel like just goes a lot more places than this one. Overall, I think the song is of course very good, and it's funny how the intro is just like ringtone type sounds. And it continues through the whole song. This song also definitely has one of the longer Toby Fox songs, so it's a bit hard to think of it as a whole instead of as many pieces. But my one criticism is that I do kind of feel like it takes a bit long to really get going. I do believe this song is just Lancer's theme in a different sound font, but I kinda wish it was in the OST. I mean, I think it deserves to be there, but you know, I gotta understand why it's not. Again, I think it's just the novelty of this track existing and me already liking Lancer's main theme. I kinda could push me to put it higher than maybe it should be. Yeah, I feel like I like to put songs up higher than they should be. Specifically because, oh, it would be funny. Oh, it would be funny to have Lance in the top 20. Oh, he didn't quite make it, actually, sorry. I feel like this song doesn't really seem that similar to the finished TV World track. I do still like it a lot, but it definitely has a very different vibe, unlike, you know, Hammer of Justice, which was pretty much the same song. It also influenced more different sections referencing other parts of the chapter. Overall, it's, you know, obviously still a very good first draft, but I'm not sure it's not the first draft, you know. But Toby Fox was able to make the finished version into something even better. My favorite part of the song would probably be the more slow and bombastic ending than going into the 8-bit part. I think this song has my favorite file name of any of the tracks here. This song is just a remix of Big Shot. I really like Big Shot, so I had to place it pretty high up. I like how since this song is a remix of that, it's one of the like 5 songs with the freedom motif. One complaint I do have is the beginning's a bit slow, but I also feel like this song just has a good steady beat to it. Also, just for note, the file name I believe is Spamton_dance. I was originally going to put all the file names on screen, but then I was too lazy and I couldn't be bothered. Also, for some of the ones that aren't in the OST, I did just kind of make up my own title. Most of them were, most of them were just pretty much what the title of the song was, but yeah, I just felt like I should mention it. weird that these guys are technically like a boss fight. There's only, there's only one. I mean, only one group of them, but and they, they can't be recruited. So, I really think this is one of my favorite boss themes. And even though it's kind of just piggybacking off the later boss theme, I think it's still able to be very good despite its short length. And it acts more as a good prelude to the final boss fight than Crumbling Tower and the others. I put this next to Spawn because I feel like while this song does have parts that are really awesome, Spawn just has a higher level of consistency. But overall, this song is still really good. There's just some parts like the beginning and the end which I feel are a bit more lagging than the middle section, especially the parts using the beat. Like, honestly, the last chorus, if you can call it that, is probably one of my favorite parts of any Deltarune song. Yeah, it's like, I know, it's harder to rank songs that it's like, part of it's good and part of it's not good. I like when it's like, oh yeah, this whole song is, pretty good. Oh, I like all of it. But it's like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? Is a song where one part is really, really good better than a song that is mostly fine? I don't know. I like how this song just uses the Spamton motif for some reason. Well, you know, I mean, not for some reason. You know he has a connection to Mike. Mike, are you getting this? But, you know, probably not. Why? My power went out and then it came back on before my computer shut off, I guess. Where was I? I don't know. I think this song. Sorry. I also do feel like I want to like the song more since Mike was supposed to go into the world. But you know, I think it's really good. Did it deserve to be above the Titan? Maybe not. This vote was probably one of the most surprised I've ever been at Deltarune. I remember I liked Spareton and all, you know, he's like, oh, thank you guys, and I'm enough. That's not what Dennis sounds like. Thank you guys, then he just gets sliced in half, very shocking. I think this is, you know, a very good theme for the night, and I can't imagine how powerful the theme might be in the eventuality that we probably get another night theme. I also like that we're using the chase motif, since I suppose that is kind of just the Dark World motif, and you know, the night did make the Dark World. Let's see if I can do a better Tenno voice. The show that makes you scream. Say it with him now. I don't know if that's actually Tenno. I don't know. It's hard to do an impression when I can't see him saying a word. Maybe I'll try again next time I see him speaking. It's weird placing these very simple piano songs up here next to the crazy final boss themes, but I just feel like I really appreciate the simple fun of the piano. I mean, I think the song also does something a little fun, just inviting the horn section in for like one part. I usually do really like the hometown tracks, and they usually have a much less serious vibe than the Dark World tracks. I'm actually writing this after all of the other songs since this seems to be the most likely the last song to come out before Chapter 5. I think it's a very nice piano melody, and it does feel like the full version will make me want to cry. Yes, it is a bit repetitive, but I think it sounds really good, and that's not just the recency bias. Probably. Yeah, as of current, it is 1:30 the day before Deltarune comes out. So if he releases another song before Chapter 5 comes out, I'm gonna be really surprised. He's got like less than a day. Oh, I didn't even realize. Less than a day till Deltarune. I really don't have as much to say about this song besides the fact that it is just kind of sad in a happy way, if you get what I mean. I really do just want Susie and Chris to be friends, and I think their whole relationship is my favorite thing in the game. I mean, I hope that they're still able to be friends if or when Susie finds out that Chris has been possessed the whole time, but I'm kinda worried. This scene's also just one of my favorites. I like when characters just talk to each other. The song does receive the award for having the most variations. There's 5 different versions, but there being like 2 beta versions, the instrumental, and like the muffled preview versions. And one of the earlier versions does have a different melody, and I do actually like it. I think more, but it was different enough to put it in a different slot. I like how this song has lyrics and also 2 different sets of lyrics. It is very funny that Rouse is censoring them, especially since they're not even that bad, but yeah. I like the inclusion of the Lost Room motif, and I actually like how this is a rhythm game, because I like rhythm games despite how much I suck at them. As of writing, this track is in the top 10, but I think that might just because it just came out and Deltarune's tomorrow and this that. But I also think it is very good. I really like the live jazz type instruments, and I really like when he remixes the main Deltarune theme. Anyway, Deltarune tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Deltarune is tomorrow. Tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow. When I'm reading this, hopefully when you're watching it. I don't know, I really wanted to get it out earlier, but you know, since I have a higher chance of even seeing it before Chapter 5 comes out, because I feel like once Chapter 5 comes out, I'm gonna get completely there. I was hoping this would be a future track since I really like it, but I think this is actually meant to be like an early version of Rune due to the motif and the title of the song. Despite that, I do really like this track, and I think its feeling more unfamiliar actually gives it points to the song department. I also really think this whole scene is just really nice, with Chris just going off to play piano on their own when, like, the one time when they're free from our control. Yeah, no, that does just make me sad. It's like, that's the... Currently, I feel like this song might be too much higher than the second Sanctuary, as they're very similar, but this one is still definitely better. I do really like the crazy time signature that this song is using. Time signatures. But make up your mind, come on. The ending of this song is really what makes it so special, and I think it deserves to be, I believe, the longest Deltarune song overall. It is hard to be extremely good for a song this long, but I do think most of it is very good, and the ringtone part is still funny. Deltarune song. I really love this song for some reason, and I can't even explain it. Like, one thing I've heard someone said this song sounded really like copyright-free music, which is apparently something I like to hear, I guess. It just feels so joyful and happy, but also like I can imagine it being sad. You know what yeah. This is the one song that I was listening to on repeat the day after playing Deltarune. I mean, it just really is stuck in my head. I like how this is labeled work in progress, implying that it wasn't finished. I feel like that's probably not true, but it is still funny. This is another track which I can only think of the wrong version, and it's freaking the Steven Cutter rip with Steve's Lava Chicken. And that one is evil. That one's worse than the I don't know if it's worse than the Family Guy one. They're all bad. Like I've said, I really like this motif, and I do think the first Sanctuary theme is the best one of the three, and it really stands out from the others. I will say it is pretty similar to the next two tracks.
The lava chicken, Steve's lava chicken. Yes, Steve's hell. Satan ringing the bell. Christmas to see. The lava chicken, Steve's lava chicken. Yes, Steve's hell. Satan ringing the bell. Christmas.
I like how this takes the Sanctuary theme and makes it more upbeat and energetic for the battle theme. I do wonder if this really will be the theme from now on, since it is so tied to the church-light motif. I also really do like the ending where it brings in the Don't Forget motif. Overall, at the top of the list here, I feel like it's hard to have a lot to say since the song is just really good, that's all. Also, you know, top 5 now. We're in the top 5, so make sure to... If you made it this far, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to ring that bell. But you know, but seriously, if you made it this far, thank you for watching this. If you want to, I was gonna say if you want to see the version of this without, without me talking, you just want to read it, I put that in the description. But if you've gotten this far, I don't think you want to see that. Probably should have advertised that earlier, but it's in the description. But the really other thing is, if you want to see either the first video of this ranking, you want me to dub over it, because yeah, I didn't dub over. I did not speak my narration the last time I did one of these. So if you want to see that, comment. And if you want me to combine them, subscribe or like, and I'll combine them. Well, I combine them and also probably put chapter 5 in there. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. I'll make a mega ranking after chapter 5 comes out. I'll put everything together as one. There, but only if I get 100 likes. 100 likes, guys. Come on. I think this could really be lower, but it just feels very powerful and makes me emotional. And maybe that's just because Deltarune is over, but the ending of the song is probably my favorite Deltarune ever. How much longer now, my Deltarune? I feel like Chapter 4 has a lot higher consistency in tracks, but Chapter 3 has some of the best tracks of the entire game. It's very funny how my top 3 songs are all from Chapter 3, and like the top 10 has 3 Chapter 3 songs, and even like the top 20 has like 4. But, you know, again, also the top 3, I really can't help but think of the Family Guy versions for all of them, so maybe that makes me like them more. Maybe it does. It's TV time! I really like all the parts of this song for different reasons. I like how he references the different tracks, and I like how the structure of the fight is, and how it does occasionally change to the rhythm game, and adds in the guitar part, which I think I like more. Toby Fox also really knows how to end a track, which the ending is very bombastic and triumphant sounding. Thank you, Hannah. Don't touch that dial! Things are heating up! There, I think that was better. Sick of the classics? We'll make them Neo! Neo shows, Neo programs, just watch! That's my voice acting. I'll read out the rest of this. Clap and cheers, smile and scream, entertainment on your screen. Who says an old CRT can't learn no tricks? Watch the 6 p.m. show. I'll start it in 5. I feel like I could do a better job if I plugged it, but I feel like I like to also think I'm a good voice actor. Fresh from the juice, fresh from the juice. Ratings how? Show you charisma. HD's nothing when you got nostalgia. I think that's what you said. I can't turn on screen for very loud. Is that why? That's your CRT asking for a walk. I don't know what this voice I'm doing is. Okay, I'm done. I think one thing I really appreciate in songs is when there are a lot of different sections and they all have a different vibe. I feel like the song doesn't really have like a chorus, and I also really like in songs when they like cut out most of the instruments, but I also really like when all the instruments come together, so I'm really confusing. I also like when I type like, I feel like it makes more sense when I just say it. It's like, you know, an like I wouldn't type but I feel like it's like I feel like sometimes I type out a sentence and I said like 5 times. Okay, final song. Final song. Rude Buster is already one of my favorite Deltarune songs, and this version is just a better remix of that, to be honest. So I really do think it's fitting this to be number 1. And originally it was only used for like one boss fight. This should have been the main battle theme for Chapter 3. Come on, guys. I kind of wish this song was longer, but that's just me being greedy. I want more Buster. Ruderer Buster. Yeah, I feel like I will be kind of sad if he replaces Rude Buster with From Now On, because even though From Now On is like 5th place on this list, I will say I like Rude Buster and Ruder Buster more than From Now On. So think about that. It's in the top 5, and I like the other ones more. This just goes to show that Toby Fox knows how to make a generic battle theme, I guess. Overall, well, you know, that's that. So thank you for watching. Again, if you want to see the complete everything together ranking after Chapter 5 is out, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe. And if you want to see, if you want me to dub over the first version, I don't know, tell me. Tell me in the comments. So yeah, and with that, that's about the end of the video. So goodbye, people of the internet. Happy Deltarune tomorrow.